Zillow just released their secret data on what buyers and sellers actually want in today's market, and I'm going to take you through the entire thing. But first, I have people reaching out every single week about Addison Real Estate. So if you are a new agent, top producer, or even a team lead, if you have more questions about what we have to offer, reach out with all the information down below, and let's see if we'd be a good fit for each other. Before we go into the deep dive, I just want to kind of set the stage on what Zillow was trying to accomplish here. People they interviewed did not know that Zillow was asking them these questions. Zillow also removed people who answered the surveys way too fast, so just clicking through everything to get it out of their face. And they also took out people with completely unrealistic answers or expectations of agents. There were 5,000 buyers that were interviewed. 2,200 of them were successful home buyers, and then the other 2,800 were people who were prospects, so people who were going to buy a house in the near future. And also note that these buyers were polled between the months of March of 2024 and July of 2024. And then the group of sellers were 6,200, and they were polled between the months of April to July of 2024. What's nice about this data is that it was during the spring market. So this is when agents are really working with a lot of people. And this was during the time that NAR was announcing the big changes that are coming down the pipeline with the buyer's agreements and all the other changes that they made. So here are the key takeaways that Zillow wants you to know right off the bat. Starting with 93% of sellers used an agent and 85% of buyers also used an agent. The remaining percentage for sellers is probably for sale by owners. They make up a very small part of the market. Could also be investors in the remaining 7%. And then on the buy side, a lot of that can be family to family, friends to friends transactions where they'll just use attorneys or title companies. And then this is also, my opinion, I think a lot of investors who take up that remaining 15%. A lot of them will just buy cash, use an attorney, a title company, like I mentioned earlier, and not really use an agent until it's time to sell. Number two, many buyers and sellers hire the first agent they contact. 47% of buyers and 59% of sellers ultimately hired the first agent they contacted. Number three, digital tools. 78% of sellers said they want an agent who offers high resolution photos, and 71% of sellers wanted an interactive floor plan for buyers looking at their home. This is an absolutely ginormous pet peeve of mine. It's insane how many times I see listings with iPhone photos, right? iPhone takes some good photos, but not the same as getting them professionally done. I've seen $1 million listings with iPhone photos as you see the person taking the photo in the bathroom mirror. Clients, sellers, buyers deserve so much more than some blurry photos, no floor plan. At the end of the day, why are you even there? I'm gonna end my rant there and not go on about that subject, hopefully. Number four, this is actually one of my favorite stats that are in this report. 53% of buyers who worked with an agent preferred to communicate through text message, while 33% preferred phone calls. Later in this video, we're gonna go into a little bit of a deeper dive because Zillow did a great job at showing which generations of people prefer text over phone call. So we'll get into that a little bit more. Number five, listing agents need to set expectations with their sellers. What Zillow is saying here is that 50% of home sellers actually had a deal fall through, which is something we've been noticing and tracking here at Addison Real Estate in our local market. Number six, this is a big one because of all the NAR lawsuits and all the craziness that has been happening. 70% of buyers felt that the commission was fair, and 73% of sellers felt that the commission was fair as well to their agents. And then you have a small group of 7% sellers and 9% buyers that said the agents' commissions are actually too low for the amount of work that they put in or the service that they had. So this page has a few stats on it. The ones that I'm more concerned about is the first-time home buyer pool shrinking by about 6%, which is actually a pretty big number. Obviously, that has to do with inflation and affordability being very, very low, especially in certain markets where I'm from in Bergen County, New Jersey. And the other stat being that a house is 4% more likely to sell if it had a floor plan, which in my experience kind of makes sense. I have clients ask me all the time, is there a floor plan? Is my desk gonna fit? Is my dresser gonna fit? Is my king size mattress gonna make sense in that corner? So a floor plan it's not even that expensive. 50 bucks, 60 bucks to have the photography company take care of it, or you can go online and use any free resources for floor plans. I mean, Again, ranting, but it's a no-brainer. As long as your seller's okay with it, get it in there. What I wasn't expecting from Zillow was actually the regional differences of buyers and sellers. Different states, different parts of the countries, people had different behaviors. And what Zillow points out here in the Northeast, and I experience it very often, is that people want to know who you are, not only on a business level, you're just sold and all that stuff. That's fine, but people want to know who you are on a personal level. So having a good social media presence, even if it's nothing crazy, just showing your day-to-day, posting stuff for your family, people want to know that you're a normal person and not like a serial killer or something like that. So having a social media presence does go a long way, at least in my area of the country. How many agents do buyers actually contact? 71% only approach one or two agents before deciding whom to work with. 47% hired the first agent they contacted. First-time buyers were slightly more likely to talk to multiple options. 35% reached out to 3 or more agents. In a very seller-favoring market, when buyers are kind of desperate and they need to move, or they really want to move, or it's super competitive, they are more likely to just work with any agent that opens up the door. But this is something I've seen since my beginning of my real estate journey to now, is people will kind of just gravitate towards the first person they talk to for various reasons. But what you can do to increase that likelihood most of the time is through buyer's consultation. Sit down with them and show them the paperwork and everything you're willing to offer. How do buyers find their realtor? You have 23% who find their agents on a website or an app. That's most likely realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow themselves. 7% on social media, and then 7% on a search engine like a Google business page. And then for social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. If you put together that 47% of buyers will work with the first person they meet, plus meeting them on social media, plus having a good presence on a Zillow or a Trulia, plus having good buyer's consultation, you have a really good chance of having them build trust in you and your professionalism as a realtor. While there's not much to say here, it's pretty written out. You can pause the video and look at the numbers. I want to point out that there are many different ways to get buyers. For example, down below, it says 5% of buyers met their agent at an open house. One thing to note is if your method of prospecting is not the top way or number one on Zillow's methods here on this page, it almost doesn't matter. For example, I love open houses. I feel I'm very strong with them. I have chips, candy, snacks, music. I like to create a welcoming environment for people and talk to people face to face. That is just my strong suit. And while it's pretty low ranking on getting leads according to Zillow, I have found that if you master a craft, as long as you're proficient and efficient and have made it a well-oiled machine and you genuinely like to do it, it'll keep you consistent. And consistency is where we get our leads from. Why don't some buyers use an agent? 85% of buyers did use a realtor in order to purchase a piece of property, but then you have the remaining 15% who didn't. And of those 15%, 42% already knew the seller personally, 36% did not want to pay commission, and 11% had a bad experience with agents. And in light of the whole NAR stuff and people not wanting to pay agents and we suck and we're the worst, we're used car salesmen, I get it. When you actually do the math, 36% of 15% of people who did not use an agent, that comes out to 5.4, or round it to 6, whatever. 6 out of 100 people do not want to pay an agent's commission. If I'm walking down the street, I have 94 people saying, I think you get paid enough, I want to work with you. No one would say that, walk off to me. But if someone's fine to pay the commission after you break it down to them and show your value, don't even worry about the other 6 people. If you remember from the beginning, Zillow broke up buyers into 2 groups, those who purchased property and then those who are still on the market, who they call prospective buyers. And out of that group, 74% said that they had one obstacle about using an agent. They feel that they wouldn't be able to afford a realtor. And then the other one's just simply not understanding how commissions work at all. It's very important as an agent to sometimes come out the gate with a common objection, and it just lowers people's defenses from the beginning. I would not be totally against it. Just say, hey, let me walk you through how I get paid and then show you everything that I do for you moving forward. And that can really help people build trust in you when you just kind of attack the elephant in the room from the beginning. Do agents actually benefit from being on social media? Zillow says that among prospective buyers, 44% said that they're more likely to hire an agent active on social media, while 46% claimed it doesn't impact their hiring choice. However, the data diverges along generational lines. 51% of millennials said that they're more likely to hire someone active on social media compared to just 18% of baby boomers and silent generation buyers. Outside of baby boomers, which were so low on the totem pole in terms of if that's a deciding factor of them hiring an agent, even with millennials sitting at 51%, that's basically 50-50 if social media matters. I'm of the opinion that you should have at least a little something. Maybe it's just family photos, you walking your dog, maybe just day-to-day stuff, just so clients have some sort of reference in how they feel comfortable to you. I actually kind of find it funny that 10% of prospective buyers said that social media deterred them from an agent. So this can be for so many different reasons. Maybe you're too personal, talking about controversial stuff, political opinions that some clients might not agree with, or you're on the other end where you're showing off fancy cars, fancy vacations, going out, all that stuff. And that's not necessarily bad. Sometimes it's just not what people are appealed to, and that's fine. But I've also seen agents wear inappropriate things, say inappropriate things on social media. So just be a normal human, and I think you should be fine. What services do buyers want from an agent? Now, this is super shocking to me. I did not expect this. I didn't even think of this question. As an agent, you're always thinking, yeah, they want me to open the door for them, show them homes, walk them through it, kind of tell them what might be wrong, what might not be wrong. But when you look at the data, 58% value help with offer details, 56% value help organizing and submitting paperwork. When we think of our job, showing people homes, letting them in, pointing out, help them visioning the space, maybe some renovation ideas, that's actually one of the lowest things that buyers value. It's important, obviously, but you can show your value when you make the incredibly complex, difficult, and confusing world of paperwork into this simple, nice little package for them to understand. During a buyer's consultation, which at Addison Real Estate we always encourage and many of our agents do, we take them through the paperwork. This is what you're signing. This is what you will sign. It says this, this, and this. We also send them follow-up emails post buyer's presentation about what we spoke about. And we also go over offer details on what's going to be a competitive offer in this crazy market. Should they go over? Should they go at asking? What kind of terms and conditions are sellers looking for? According to Zillow, buyers want to know what their offers need to look like in this market, and also showing them the type of paperwork that they're going to need to sign, complete, and send over and have a good offer package. How do buyers prefer to communicate? 53% of buyers who worked with an agent preferred to text or use a messenger app, while only 33% wanted to speak on the phone. Everyone makes fun of us, Gen Z. I know we're the worst. We suck. We're awful. But you look at these numbers and we're not really far apart amongst generations. Gen Z, 59% rather text, millennial, 53%, Gen X, 57%, boomers, 42%, even the baby boomers. It's really not that far off when it comes to text communication. You'll see the phone call numbers very low here too. What I thought was interesting is that not all written communication is valued the same. As you see, all the email numbers are super low. People barely check their emails. I don't know where this sits in terms of being true or not, but I got to thinking, we spend so much time sending out newsletters and emails, and this came on the market, this came on the market, advertising through email a lot. Is that the proper way for us agents to be reaching out to people to get leads? I don't know the answer on that. I've had some success from it. I've also had success just from straight up texting people links and stuff like that. So I think at the end of the day, text message or WhatsApp, whatever it is, works better than email. But at the end of the day, text communication destroys phone communication calls. So just keep that in mind as you're going along. Do buyers find an agent's commission fair? All the crazy NAR lawsuit stuff, and agents get paid too much, and all this stuff you see on social media, everyone getting into fights in the comment sections. I actually see that 70% of people say our commissions are fair. 21% of people say no, we get paid too much, totally fine. And then you actually have more than I expected, 9% of people say that we don't get paid enough. And I know during the NAR stuff, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of freaking out. But at the end of the day, if you're in a room of 100 people and 79 of them say you get paid fair, I just hit my mic. You get paid enough, I'm fine with it. And some people say, hey, you need to get paid more. You brought so much value. No one's going to say it like that. I'm not going to worry about the other people. There are people who are excited to work with us, who are so thankful for what we do. And let's keep that in mind as we're going along. Now let's get into seller preferences. Why do sellers list their home? 78% of sellers said their reason for moving is because of a major life event. Zillow breaks it down into a few categories, 51% being a change in household or family size, 37% new job or job transfer, 35% working remotely more often, 32% have retired, another 32% got married, divorced, or separated, 29% working remotely less often, and another 29% job loss or other involuntary unemployment. How many agents do sellers contact before listing? I was kind of surprised, not really, by the stat. First-time sellers, 64% of them only interviewed one agent and hired the one agent that they interviewed. That might explain the iPhone photos, the blurry pictures, not properly explaining what the house has, the measurement of rooms. I think it's kind of funny how repeat sellers, those who are going to sell again, just interviewing one agent went down. Maybe they learned their lesson, or they came across multiple agents throughout their journey that might be better suited for their goals. How do sellers discover their agent? 36% found them through online, while 28% found them through referral. And then you also have Zillow breaking down where sellers found their agents from. And what I thought was interesting on this list was on the community section, this number is actually higher than on the buy side. Very strong listing agents tend to dominate a section of a town, a condo community, whatever it may be. And so sellers start to see their face and their name in billboards and for sale signs. How do sellers determine their listing price? These numbers were not surprising, but a little disappointing. The positive thing is that 57% consulted with a realtor or a broker about the list price, which is great. We are normally the experts of a market, and if it's an agent who is very strong in selling, they will do their comps and everything in their power to make sure that home is listed at the right price. But then coming in at second is sellers are trusting the Zestimate. I've seen Zestimates overpricing a home by $100,000, and I've also seen underpricing a home by $60K. Again, it's an algorithm. It's not going to know if there's a crack in the foundation, what's the age of the roof, is that the style of a home a buyer wants in that market at that time. It's very important for us as agents to have that dialogue and be ready, because they're always going to bring up the Zestimate. Be ready for the Zestimate conversation. What qualities do sellers value most in agents? 75% of sellers said finding an agent with a positive reputation in the community was highly important, with the top two being they want the initial impression of the agent or the broker to be responsive, and then they also want agent or broker to be trustworthy. So first impressions are really important, and them being able to trust you helps problems that come moving forward. And what Zillow said is one of the least important characteristics of an agent is what office they work for. People think that the bigger the company, the better it is. All my clients are going to love it that I work for this company, they've been around for 1 trillion years. But at the end of the day, they don't care. Clients want to work with you because they love you. If some people have had a bad experience with an agent from a certain company, yes, that does happen. They don't want to affiliate with them. But at the end of the day, it's about what you bring to the table. And if you work at the worst office in the world, as long as you're a phenomenal agent, they're fine. Independent brokerages crush it. Cloud brokers crush it. Brick and mortar, more traditional brokers crush it. It's just where you find yourself to be happy, be able to have enough resources, and not have to worry about what your clients think about, because at the end of the day, they don't care. How many offers does the seller typically get? The market has slowed down nationally. In my area, Bergen County, New Jersey, I can't say that to be fully the case. We have slowed down, but it is not like the rest of the country and even most of New Jersey. As you can see here, Zillow is saying the good news is that the typical seller reported selling their home for $300,000, which that's not even remotely close to Bergen County prices in 2024. Again, this is a national study, and 35% increase over the last 5 years in home value, from 2022 to 2024, have homes getting 4 and above offers went from 26% to 17% of sellers. This is definitely the case even crazy market of Bergen County. Like I said, it's still hot, but it has slowed down. Zillow also asked sellers how often are they negotiating the agent's commission. Zillow says just over half, 51% of sellers working with an agent negotiated a lower commission, more than double the 21% of buyers who received a commission rebate from their agent. You also see here Zillow breaking down the groups and types of people who negotiated their commission. Looking at this page, an important thing to know is on the sell side, a seller has to move somewhere. They're usually not going from a selling to a renting position, unlike buyers who are going from a renting to a owning position. It is very common, I've done it myself, for agents to potentially lower their commission if they're going to help a seller sell, and then also get paid for the buy instead of smacking them on both sides with maybe their full price. Now that is the Zillow stat breakdown for 2024 and the predictions going into 2025. If you want to see the full package of the Zillow breakdown, I have it in the description below, completely free. Go ahead, click it, download it, and I hope you enjoy. There were a few things I left out because they were just repeating information and making it nice and fancy on a chart. But if you have any questions about what I broke down, or some comments or some just opinions that you have, feel free to drop it down below. If you're interested in potentially joining a new broker, whether you're a new agent, top producer, or a team lead, we got something for everybody to share our resources and to hope you find happiness somewhere. This is Isaiah from Addison Real Estate, and have a great day.